These are the assembly instructions for my Easter basket. So I have two files for these baskets. One of the files is for relatively small baskets, and the other file I've sized down, so these are even smaller. But the assembly is exactly the same, so I'm just going to show you with the smaller version. So I've started with the main piece for the basket with the scalloped edges, and I'm just folding down on those center score lines. So you have an octagon in the center, and I'm just folding down on those 8 score lines in the center. And then I'm folding down on all the tabs on one side of each one of my panels all the way around. So there are 8 of these tabs, and I'm just folding down on all of them. I like to use my bone folder just to reinforce those folds. So now I have my decorative panels. So for this one, I went with the same pattern on the inside and the outside. I have 8 of these panels for the outside and 8 of these panels for the inside. 4 of these panels have little holes in them at the top, and these are to match up with the holes that are on the side, like so. So I'm just going to glue down my decorative panels on the outside, so on the exterior of my basket. There's a small little border all the way around, and I want to keep it as even as possible. So for the panel with the hole in it, I just want to make sure that I'm matching up those holes exactly. So now that I have my decorative panels adhered to the outside of my basket, I am going to put glue on each one of those side tabs. So from the score line to the edge, all over the tab, and then I want the cut line of this panel to be right along the score line of my tab. And you can flip it over and just spread that glue. And I'm just going to work my way around the shape, doing the exact same thing for all 8 sides. So now I'm going to put the decorative panels on the inside of my basket. So these will not only strengthen my basket, but they'll also camouflage the tabs that I've just glued down. I'm going to start with one of the panels that has the hole at the top. I'm just putting glue on the back of it, and then I'm lowering it into my basket, making sure that those holes overlap. The sides are nice and straight against the score lines. I'm going to do the other panel with the hole in it as well. So I'm going to work my way around, gluing down the 6 other panels. So next I have my handle pieces. So I have my decorative strip that goes in the middle of the handle. I'm just going to put glue on the back of it, and I'm centering it as best I can in the middle of the panel while the glue is still wet. Just taking my bone folder, you can use a ruler or anything with a nice straight edge, and just sort of shaping my handle so that it curves. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the hole on one end of my handle, and I have my little flower shape with a hole in it as well, making sure that those holes overlap nicely. Doing that on the other side as well. I'm just putting glue on the underside of my little circular pieces and gluing them on top. Next I have my little platform for my egg, and I am just folding down on all the tabs all the way around. I have my decorative piece. I'm just putting glue on the underside and gluing it down. I have my holes on my right hand and my left hand side, like so. So because I have directional paper, I want my bunnies to be in this direction. I'm putting glue all over those panels and carefully lowering my piece into my basket. I'm going to go in through that center hole and put pressure on the sides just to spread that glue. Then I have these brads, and I'm just going to take 2 of those brads, and I'm going to take my handle. I'm going to position the holes so that they're superimposed, and take one of my brads, put it through the hole, and then open the brad up. I'm going to do that on the other side as well. And then I'll insert my Easter cream egg, like so. On to the next one. The next one goes together pretty much the same way. I'm just folding down on the score lines in the center as I did for the other one. And then I'm folding on the score lines on the side tabs as well. And I'm making the rounds of my bone folder. So now I have my decorative panels for the exterior, and two of my panels have little slits through them. Now those are going to be for the handles. When I'm gluing these down, I want to make sure that these are adhered on the panels with the slits, and that the slits are exactly over one another like so. I'm just putting glue on the back of the panel, so making sure that slit is open. I'm going to do the same thing with the panel that's just across from it, making sure that they're stacked up right on top of one another, and then I'm going to glue down the remainder of the 6 panels. So for the assembly of the sides of this one, you want to put glue on those 3 tabs. You just want to join the cut edge of the panel to the score line of the tab. Because of the tapered shape of the panels, you want to make sure that you're gluing your panels right up against the score line, being very careful to follow the shape of the score line. Now I'm going to adhere the decorative panels to the interior of my basket. I'm going to be mindful of the cutout in 2 of the panels that need to go right over that side cutout. So I'm just putting glue on the underside of my panel, just gluing it in, just making sure that opening is still there. So I'm just going to continue, and what this does is gives it a little bit more of a finished look. So now that my interior panels are all glued in, I'm going to do the stand for the edge. I've just folded down on all the score lines. I'm putting glue on the underside of my decorative piece and just gluing that down. I'm trying to center it as best I can, and I want the straight edges to match nicely. So now I'm putting glue on all those flaps all the way around and carefully inserting them inside my basket. Now I'm going in with my bone folder and I'm just pressing down, spreading all that glue. So then I have my handle piece, I have my decorative piece, so I'm just putting glue on the underside of it. I'm laying my larger handle piece down on the mat, laying it down at the 1-inch mark. I want to start my decorative piece at the 1/2-inch mark. I just want to glue that all down. And while my glue is still wet, I'm going to take my bone folder and just shape my piece so that it's nice and curved, like so. So taking my handle, I'm going to thread the end of my handle in through the hole from the inside of my basket, and then just pull it through about 3/8 of an inch, like so. So now I'm just going to insert the other end from the inside right through to the outside of my basket. These little circles are for the outside of the basket, so I'm just gluing the smaller decorative circles onto the larger circles, trying to center them as best I can. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the underside of my handle piece, and then I'm just going to glue that circle piece right on top. And of course I'm doing that on both sides. And then I have these little half pearls. I'm just going to add them to the center of my circle, like so. And there's my little miniature basket featuring 1 single cream egg. So now I'm working on my bow. I have a wooden dowel. I'm wrapping my cardstock around the wooden dowel. I don't want this to fold, I want it to curve nicely. I'm putting a little bit of glue on one side of the center, placing my end piece. I'm going to use my reverse tweezers here to keep that in place. I'll do that with the other side as well. I'm going to put glue just on the tip and curve that over. So on the underside, so where that seam is, I'm going to put a dot of glue. I'm just positioning this right over the tail of my bow. So now I'm putting a little bit of glue in the center. I'm taking my rectangular piece and I'm adhering it as straight as I can in the center of that tail part. I'm going to wrap that piece around and wrap it around again. Glue at the back and glue that rectangular piece down. Part that overlaps, I'm folding it over like so, and that's what I'm going to use to adhere it to my basket. I'm just putting glue just on that top piece. just going to glue it right up there, like so. So these are the smaller baskets with the Easter cream egg insert. So the third one in this series goes together exactly the same as the one with the scalloped edges.